Welcome to the Master Dealmaker's Secrets podcast. And now, here's sales growth strategist, John Blake.
Welcome to Master Dealmaker Secrets. I'm John Blake. This is episode 64, and today we are going to be talking about the 5 levels of sales conversion in your business. But first, if you've got lead flow and you want to convert more of those leads in your pipeline into paying clients, head over to johnblakeaudio.com and get your free audio training where I show you the exact strategy that you can use to double the amount of unconverted clients that sit in your pipeline, convert them into paying clients. This is the exact strategy that I teach it's actually the first thing I do with my high ticket clients when they come on board. And once you install this in your business, it will give you consistent results. It has done for myself and for my clients for many, many years, and will do for many, many years to come. So head over to johnblakeaudio.com. Not only will you get the audio training, what you'll also get is the PDF guide, which has my word-for-word email templates, my word-for-word scripts on what to say on someone's voicemail if you get their voicemail, and what to say when you actually get through to them on the phone. And it will be super valuable for you when you get to put that into practice in your business. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the conversion ladder. So in my experience, having worked with hundreds and hundreds of different salespeople and hundreds and hundreds of different businesses, what I've found is that there are 5 levels on the sales conversion ladder that I encounter in businesses, ranging from companies that have no sales process in place to businesses that have a proven, tested, and refined sales process. So what we're going to be talking about are the results that you can typically expect at each level as you move up. And the good news is that you can move from one level to the next, depending on what you do in terms of how you treat leads. So the first level is where the business has no sales process at all. And as much as this sounds bizarre, there really are businesses that I encounter where I say, do you have a documented, structured sales process? And they will say no. In fact, I was talking to a guy that runs a business networking group, and he did a survey with his members. He's got 370 small business members in Western Australia, and he found that only 6% of those people actually had a sales growth plan, which is obviously inclusive of having a sales process and obviously a plan to execute that particular process. So it's actually a lot more common than what you might think. So businesses that have no sales process in place, they essentially have around about 5 to 10% of their inquiries that actually convert into sales. And so in these businesses, I mean, you might have heard of the sales prevention department. Customers are almost buying in spite of the process rather than for any other reason. They in many ways actually have to work hard to actually make a sale, which is obviously not the way it should be. And even more interestingly is that some businesses that can actually survive off 5 to 10% conversion. It's quite bizarre. But obviously, what's great about that is that there's massive opportunity within those businesses, massive opportunity to increase their profitability and to help more people. If your business exists to help people with a solution that you've got, there's a massive opportunity to help more people. So, but as you can imagine, those businesses are doing a stack of extra work for a lesser return. So, I spoke to a company that had a 5% conversion rate, that most of their business was via tender, and the tenders would take a long time to put together, and they would, for every 100 of these tenders that they would put together, they would only convert 5%, which is ridiculous. I mean, tender type businesses, tend to have a lower conversion rate, but that's a lot of heavy lifting for very, very little return. So that's at the bottom of the of the ladder. The level above that is where there is a process, but it is an ineffective one, right? So the businesses in this category have the resemblance of a sales process, but it's either largely ineffective with its conversions, or the sales team have a very loose understanding or a very weak grasp of it. And these businesses can typically expect around 10 to 15% conversion. So what that typically looks like is I'll walk into an organization and I'll say, do you have a documented sales process? And they'll say, yeah, we've, it's all documented. And I'll say, whereabouts is it documented? And they'll say, it's in that manual over there that's sitting on that shelf. And I'll say, when was the last time that you or anyone else looked at that? And I've had this conversation so many times. The exact response I get is, I haven't looked at it for ages, and new guys are meant to go through it when they start. That's pretty much the stock standard answer. But you can guarantee that no one has looked at that thing, and it's just gathering dust, sitting on the shelf, and no one's looking at it, no one's revisiting it, no one's training it, and certainly no one's adhering to it or paying any attention to it. So that's the effective. So to recap, no sales process will give you between 5 to 10%. An ineffective process will give you between 10 and 15%. Then you've got a business that has a generic sales process. So what I mean by generic is that it's typically one that they've learned from a book or a seminar, and they've adapted it to their business, and often not particularly well. It isn't nuanced for their particular product or service, and a generic process is certainly better than not having any process at all, and it will typically convert at around about 15 to 30%. So people ask me all the time, they say, what's an average conversion rate? And it is pretty much around about 20 to 25%, right? So the level above that is a structured process. So these businesses have a sales process that is structured toward their specific industry, their specific market, and their specific product or service. And these businesses have developed a process that works, and they can expect 30 to sometimes even 60% conversion from inquiry to becoming a paying client. So these people have normally invested with somebody to come in, look at their business, look at I find at least 6 different leverage points that you can address to make a process convert better. As an example, qualifying or disqualifying people up front can make a massive difference to your conversion, because there are people that are probably going through your process that shouldn't be, that actually should be disqualified at the front end and referred to somebody who's a better fit for their particular situation. So that can just, one little lever that you can pull alone can increase your conversions, because you're actually doing less, you're putting together less quotes or less proposals, but you're also bogging your system up a lot less by not putting as many proposals in there that probably weren't going to convert anyway. So that's the structured process. And then the level above that is, once a business has a process in place and it's working, it's critical that you continue to improve it by testing it and implementing it and listening to people's calls and analysing those calls and giving your salespeople feedback and refining your process based on listening to those calls and what customers are saying. Because we can put together a great process and it'll absolutely convert better than a generic process or an ineffective process. But if we're constantly refining it, improving it, coaching it and evolving it, then you can actually over time expect to grow conversions from 60 to between 80 and in some cases 90%. It is possible. I've seen it happen. I've got clients who have done that, even written testimonials, documented testimonials and case studies for clients who we have taken their conversion rates from 30 to 40% to up to 80 to 90%. So it is doable. So when you think about that, you go, okay, well, look, for the exact same investment paid to your advertising, your marketing, the exact same overheads and running costs, but the result pretty much, and that extra profit goes straight back onto your bottom line. So, to a company, a business owner, or even a commissioned salesperson, this increase is massive, because you're not having, it's no longer a numbers thing. You're not having to work harder. You're actually working the same, if not less, and making more money. And that's, obviously what people want. So, this can really change and transform the maths. This can free up capital to allow you to pay off massive chunks from your business loans, to look after your clients in a more effective way, to research better and more valuable products and services. I mean, it just opens up so many different possibilities within a business. So I encourage you to look at your conversion rates. Believe it or not, I speak to some people, I say, what's your conversion rate from inquiry to sale? And they can't tell me. So, start to track your inquiries. If you've got a CRM, then do it in there. But if you haven't, put it in an Excel spreadsheet and start to track your conversions. So it's like anything. If you manage and you examine something, it becomes easy. Sorry, if you examine something and you focus on it, you can actually start to measure it. And when you can measure it, you can start to manage it. And it's a classic old saying, but it still holds true. If your business does not have a process for selling to your clients, you will be at the mercy of your client's process for buying. And that's not what you want. You want something that's predictable, something that you know that if you invest enough money to create 100 leads at the start of the month, that within 30 days, you will have converted X amount of those 100 leads. Within 60 days, you will have converted another percentage of those 100 leads, so that you know that whatever you put into the top of the funnel, you know that it's actually going to produce a certain amount of sales and a certain amount of sales revenue at the bottom of the funnel. So I hope that has been useful. And as usual, thank you very much for listening, and I will talk to you on the next podcast. Thank you.
You've been listening to Master Dealmaker's Secrets with John Blake. Subscribe to get more in-depth strategies to maximize your sales process with new episodes every week. And double your inquiry to sale conversion with the lead flow you already have. Go to johnblakeaudio.com for his exclusive free no-fluff audio training and companion PDF guide.